Hello there. We're gonna have some fun today. So I'm sitting around having coffee with my wife this morning, thinking about how I have a couple of days off work and haven't slept out in the woods in a while. What's wrong with me? It's winter. I should do that every chance I get. So I'm thinking about where I want to go, and decided stick close to home for this one. Cuivre River State Park. We're on the Lone Spring Trail at backcountry or backpack site number 1. Permits are free. Just go online. Takes a minute. So I went ahead and did that, and it's like, but you know, I really don't want to camp the way I camp, the tent and the jet boil and all that. I want to really try something different. Well, what could that be? So I'm thinking about it. And I'm thinking, you know, something bushcrafty sounds kind of fun. You know, cooking over the coals in a fire, making something really good to eat from scratch. But I don't have any good cookware for that, I realized. So I did a gear dump in my office. Just threw everything on the floor. So I thought we'd see what we could come up with. Get as close to that as we can. It's still going to be dehydrated meals. I've got them. They're easy. They're good. But it's not really what I was looking for. So we'll get as close as we can. And tarp camp, sleep on the ground, and have a stick stove just for boiling water. But it's a fire. Where I plan to camp has a fire ring, and I've been wanting to camp here ever since I saw it on a hike. So I'm really looking forward to tonight. Well, somehow I missed the connector trail. To make this a bit of a shorter hike, it's going to add a couple of miles, which normally I wouldn't mind. But we're almost at the winter solstice. Daytime is short now, and I'm carrying a big load. So I throw all this stuff on the floor. It's like, oh, that'd be fun. That'd be fun too. Oh yeah, let's try that out. I've never been tarp camping, by the way. This is my first time, so. I mean, I have had a tarp that I burrito rolled in before a couple of times, but I've never pitched a tarp. This is going to be fun. Actually, I'm really looking forward to it. There's so many different ways to pitch a tarp. I'll do something basic tonight. Maybe get a little more advanced as time goes on. Anyway, long story short, back to the subject. So, I've got all this stuff on the floor. I'm thinking I'm going to need this, need that. It's usually about a 35 to 40 degree temperature swing between the daytime and the nighttime this time of year. So I need to prep for that, you know. It's going to be a cold one. And I start loading everything to the pack and realize I need a bigger pack. I don't have one. So what can I eliminate? Eliminated my base layer. Most of the extra clothing is gone, actually. So, it's going to be a fun night. And I pick up the pack, throw it in the car. It's like, I don't think I picked up a pack that heavy since I was a teenager, back in the days of external frames. So I had to get on the scale. I'm carrying 40 pounds right now. That's ridiculous. I mean, it's kind of fun because I haven't done it in a long time, but now I remember why. Woo! Oh yeah, 40 pounds. Thought about bringing some beers for tonight. That would have been a lot more weight. Well, this is a good sign. All the streams were dry when I was here last summer. I mean, nothing's flowing, but there are a lot of pools here in the stream bed. So I wonder if Lone Spring actually has water flowing out of it this time. We'll find out tomorrow on the way back. I'll just make the full circle since I missed the connector trail. Make lemonade. These spur of the moment trips are always fun. You're just throwing. Am I lost? It's too early to be lost. Okay, so, you know, you're just kind of throwing everything together with no planning, no forethought. Ah, a blaze. Thank God. So, you know, I can't shake this nagging feeling that I forgot something. Like something important. So I'm throwing everything together. Yeah, that's it. Okay. And putting stuff in the car. And it's like, oh wait, I forgot this. Wait, I forgot that. My wife said it was a hot mess. I'm not really sure what she meant by that, but she was laughing when she said it, so it must not be bad. Anyway, get it all in there. And she goes, your pack's really full, isn't it? I said, yeah, I can't cram another thing in there. She said, what about all this stuff you've got laying all around on the seats? It's like, well, I guess I'll just tie it on somehow. That's how we get to 40 pounds, people. I'm on the trail. Right through that. I decided I'd go around. You know, I was thinking about how roughing is such a popular physical activity these days. I call it backpacking light. We're on the ridgeline headed to camp. It's beautiful here. Deep valleys on both sides. I'm really looking forward to this. Perfect. We're at this point on the ridge. The valley drops off on 3 sides. Sun's right up there. Probably go down over here. Oh, this is gorgeous. I might build up the fire ring, gather some firewood, pitch camp. I would show you how I'm going to do the pitching camp, but I actually don't have a clue. I'm kind of curious to know myself. Well, let's get started. Okay, so one of the things I didn't consider is how windy it is on a ridgeline. It's obvious to me now. So I was going to do a basic lean-to, but the wind is kind of blowing, especially with us being on this point, is blowing from at least all 3 sides up out of the valleys and across this ridgeline, but it does kind of switch directions. It's switching directions a lot. So I came up with, I'm going to call it a modified plow point. That's essentially where I started, and then I'll show you where I ended up. So I'm going to take the camera off the tripod. It's going to be a little shaky, but I kind of want to show you what I've got. It's actually palatial inside, and I'm hoping it blocks enough of the wind for me to sleep well tonight. Let's take a look at it. Okay, so I used bank line to suspend this tarp and a little bipod. It's going to make the call of nature in the middle of the night a delicate situation. I'll have to be careful where I step with this bank line everywhere. But you can see I have this bipod at the front. I have some bank line in the middle of the tarp over to this tree. That's going to give me more headroom under the tarp. I went ahead and staked out the sides, folded the corner here under. No point in wasting a stake on that. It was just laying flat on the ground. And so we're looking up the ridge line back towards the trail. Now let me show you inside. Alright, of course we're looking directly at the sun. But this basic bipod, which is tied off to a tree. And lots and lots of room. I will have to clear the leaves out. Even though it's in the low 50s right now, we do have actually some honeybees and some spider activity going on. We will be into the 20s tonight. But during the wintertime, the ticks and spiders all kind of spend the winter nestled under these leaves, and it insulates them from the winter. And I really don't want to sleep with those guys tonight. So I'll just get a stick, clean this out, and show you how much room there is once I put my gear in there. Okay, so the angle of the sun is making this really difficult to shoot right now because it's coming from right there. But you can see here I've got my got a ground sheet from a tent, some Reflectix foam, and 0 degree bag. I know from past experience this is more than I need for tonight. I'm totally covered by the tarp. Wind is coming from the back of the tarp, at least at the moment. And I've got room behind me for all my gear. Now, what I have found is that there really is no firewood out here. And finding dead sticks that are dry enough to burn is difficult enough. So I'm hoping I find enough for dinner and breakfast tomorrow. But you can see if I stretch out, try and keep my muddy shoes off of this. Plenty of room. Plenty of room. I've got a low pitch that's really for the wind, but this is going to be sweet tonight. I'm really looking forward to it. And if I'm lucky, I'll be able to see the stars. That'll be great. Alright, I'm going to get my gear in here, collect the sticks for the stove, and we'll get back to you for dinner. Alright, so I've gathered a few sticks. Obviously need to gather more. It's easy to find some really dry sticks out here. It's been dry still this winter. You can tell how dry a stick is by how brittle it is. It should make that snapping noise. Good and dry. Good for firewood. So I really like this Everlit stove. It's small, perfect for a billy can, which is what I'm going to use to boil water in tonight. But I probably should bring a larger one. The billy can's about as big as you could go with this. I do have a couple of pieces of fat wood I got off a pine. I'll make some shavings off those, mix it in with the sticks at the bottom, and then start to feed the fire later when I'm ready for dinner. And let's see, small, to increasingly larger sticks. Obviously not enough. And I want to gather enough for tomorrow's breakfast as well. Alright, well, as you can see, the sun is almost below the ridge line now. It'll be dark in 20 minutes. It's cooling off quickly. Breeze is picking up as it usually does when the sun rises and sets. I don't think it's going to be too bad tonight. Tonight's dinner is beef pasta marinara. Sounds better than it tastes. They're not bad, but I could do so much better at home. So Stephanie, if you're watching this video, I'm going to talk to Jackie about buying a dehydrator, bringing out some good food, and then doing some cooking when I'm out at camp. I'm going to give John with Lost Lakes a run for his money. Okay, so the fire started. I brought a ferro rod out to start it and decided not to use it. This stove is so small, the openings are so small, I just lit it with a match instead. We'll get this going, get a few coals in there, and get it really hot. We'll get the billy can on. I love this billy can. It's got markings on it in 4-ounce increments. So something I can measure with. And we'll work on dinner. Alright, so I'm not really hungry. And I have plenty of sticks here, plenty of firewood. I mean, it's the wonderful thing about these stick stoves. It really doesn't take much. So I thought I'd just have a campfire for a bit. It feels nice. Hot chocolate. I forgot hot chocolate. And what would be nice is some extra tent pegs and either a sit pad or a chair. Alright, I'm going to have to start a list. There you have it. Gloves or something to hold on to the handle. Alright, I've got to figure that out fast. Wow, I really need a list. Alright, so I have steam coming out of the drain holes. So the water is boiling or pretty close to boiling. I'll give it a little bit. I really couldn't find anything to grab onto this handle with. Everything I have is synthetic except for my wool socks. So I'm going to try. Oh, I'm going to be good. It's still going on the list though. Man, I love these spur of the moment trips. There we go. I figured while this hydrates, I'd build the fire back up. Enjoy the warmth. I really enjoyed that fire I had at Hahn when I was on the Whispering Pines Trail. It'd been so long since I'd made a fire, I don't even remember. I think it's something I'm going to have to do more often. I really enjoy it. Alright, so dinner's ready. I'm going to sit here by my fire. I'm sure I'll burn up all the sticks tonight. It doesn't take that many to boil a cup or so of water, so I'll worry about breakfast tomorrow. Probably enjoy the fire, have dinner, then recline in the sleeping bag for warmth, and work on my list. See you in the morning. Morning. Oh, that was a long night. Probably 13 hours. It's one thing about winter. There's really not a lot to do. It gets cold. So you're usually in the sack for 12 to 14 hours. Feels good though. Beautiful sunrise. Not much happened last night. Wind blew the leaves around a bit. I was snorted at by a buck a couple of times. He stomped the ground. And I thought he was going to charge the tent. He didn't though. I started yelling at him and he took off. That was about it. Started out with pretty much all the clothes on and woke up a couple hours later just drenched in sweat. So I had to strip down, and then about the middle of the night, about 3 o'clock, it was freezing. I had to throw them all back on again. It was fun. I hope the camera's able to pick up the beautiful colors of the sunrise. My wife has this towel that says, first I drink the coffee, then I do the things. Man, I get it. That's exactly how I feel this morning. Coffee time. Then maybe a little breakfast. Pack up and hit the trail. So while this fire gets going and I get some coals in it to boil some water, man, I'm ready for that coffee. Thought I'd explore a little bit. I was thinking about that buck last night. He came up behind the tarp. He snorted a lot. He was pawing the leaves and just making all this noise. And I yelled at him and he got quiet. And then a few minutes later, he started doing it again. And so I had to get up and just yell at him, chase him out of camp. And that's kind of funny. And so I started looking around, and we're on this point, the ridge line, and I started walking down. There's a game trail that actually goes through the middle of camp, and it goes down this point, and there's a little knoll that overlooks where the two streams come together in the bottom of the valley, and it looks like that's where he'd been bedding down. So I was probably, his usual path was through here, and I was right in the middle of it. That's something I haven't had happen before. Alright, coffee's made. First coffee. Now it's time to get water going for breakfast. Mountain berry cobbler. Usually I don't eat breakfast, not this early, because, you know, these are like for two. But I guess with the cold night, I'm starving this morning. So mountain berry cobbler, man, that sounds good. Mm-hmm. Second coffee and dessert for breakfast. Life is good. There we go. Nobody but the deer are ever going to know I was here. Well, I really like that campsite, and I really enjoyed my first night under a tarp. That was a lot of fun. Now I'm itching to come out a lot and just pitch a tarp in all different types of configurations, try them out. I will have to say the setup I had last night did let the breeze in and flapped around a little bit, made some noise, but that was fun. Now a tent would be warmer than a tarp. It keeps the breeze out, traps your body heat, but it can also condensate, especially in the colder months. And that tarp was completely dry. That was nice. Well, we'll have to do that again soon. Wow, that sun's bright. All right, so we're up on top of the hill above Lone Spring, and there's not a lot, but there is water flowing out of it. That's cool. Let's go check it out. Okay, so you can see where the spring's coming out from the bottom of the hill. Behind that, the bench, just sit and enjoy the view. And the water's flowing pretty well in the stream. And I could see water, and the stream is full for as far in the distance as I could see, even off the camera. That's really great. Let's go down there. There's a good steady stream of water coming out of there. It's really pretty. Just up the hill from here is a really deep sinkhole too. Here we are looking downstream from the spring. Here we are even farther downstream. Then you can see some bluffs where another stream connects with this one, I think Big Sugar Creek, in the distance. Water is always precious in the Ozarks. It's nice when you can find it. Well, old Dan Tucker was a fine old man, washed his face in a frying pan, combed his hair with a wagon wheel, died with a toothache in his heel. Get out the way, old Dan Tucker, you too late to get your supper. Get out the way, old Dan Tucker, you too late to get your supper. Old Dan Tucker, he come to town, riding a billy goat, leading a hound. The hound dog barked, the billy goat jumped, landed old Tucker on a stump. Get out the way, old Dan Tucker, you're too late to get your supper. Get out the way, old Dan Tucker, you're too late to get your supper. Now old Dan Tucker got drunk and fell in the fire and kicked up hell. A red hot coal fell in his shoe, and oh my Lord, the ashes flew. Get out the way, old Dan Tucker, you're too late to get your supper. Get out the way, old Dan Tucker, you're too late to get your supper. Old Dan Tucker had come to town, swinging them ladies all around. First to the right, and then to the left, then to the gal that he loves best. Get out the way, old Dan Tucker, you're too late to get your supper. Get out the way, old Dan Tucker, you're too late to get your supper. Get out the way, old Dan Tucker, you're too late to get your supper. Get out the way, old Dan Tucker, you're too late to get your supper. Wow. Whew. I feel 40 pounds lighter. Well, we're back at the trailhead. The car's in good shape and it hasn't been vandalized. It's still here. That's always a relief. So I had a great time. I hope you did too. Thanks for coming along with me. Please join me on future adventures. Bye-bye.